Hello folks, welcome. Linux Mint 22 Mate desktop. I waited a couple of weeks regarding this video because I was hoping they fix a couple of things, and that has to do with the user experience. And so I will just continue without these files, and I'll point those out to you. You probably have already discovered them. If you open them up, they're blank. In other words, some of the help files. So I'm filming in 1920 by 1080. Please adjust your YouTube player accordingly if necessary. I'm really not going to cover the whole system. I'm just really going to focus in on the file manager. So welcome folks. Subscription keys in the corner. Well over 420 videos and growing. So if you press F1, you're supposed to get a user's guide. It's not here. It's blank. File manager. The file manager for this distribution is this, if you're not aware of that. And again, there's probably quite a few of you folks out there that are using this for the first time. So I'll give you a couple of tips. Because the contents or help is also blank. I don't know if this is a graphics driver thing or this happens to be just some information that was missing and has been missing for a while, and people are just not aware of this. But in either case, with a blank file, it's kind of hard to search for things. So what I'm going to do is just go through the file manager. Not really deep dive, but basically just basic settings. All right. Free space on your drive, your one that you're current booted in, and then if you have additional drives, they'll be showing up in here. The size of the icons can be resized several ways. You can go to the view menu, you can click zoom in and out and hold out the control key with the plus or minus or 0. I usually don't use those. I hold down my control key and scroll up and back with my computer mouse. I'm using a desktop or a tower computer, fairly standard keyboard with a computer mouse with a scroll wheel. So touchpads are slightly touchy when it comes down to this kind of stuff. I'm going to go full screen by double clicking on that top line. You can certainly do it the old-fashioned way, and I'll make these bigger. So they kind of stack this way. You can also change the view from list to compact, and these are also resizable. All right, we can start with the edit preferences. There's a couple of them. We have the default views. You probably want that at 100%, but maybe you don't. There's the compact view and list, and then tree view is over here. So not much control there, but more importantly, you also have show hidden files. But there's a keyboard equivalent that I'll just do it right now. Control H. And you'll see dots in front of these things. So periods or dots. Control H to turn that off. We have behavior. It's set for double click. That just means that you double click to open items. This is my favorite behavior. Some distributions use single click. I don't particularly care for that because occasionally I run script files and I don't want them to run right away. I want them to be able to click those. And a lot of these launchers that I create also on the desktop, the same deal. But again, that is your choice, but the default is double click. The trash can you may want to pay attention to. Ask before emptying or deleting files. That's probably a good thing. However, you can turn it off. Anyways, you can see some options with your trash. Your trash is always going to be here. The shortcut is always going to be in your... Let me minimize this for a second. I don't think you really need a trash can on your desktop. You can always just click that and find your trash can. Again, it's going to be right here. All right, going full screen again. We have display. And then we have list columns. And again, you have to be in list mode to view this. So if I wanted to add some additional columns, and these are resizable. Let's say I wanted to, I don't know, maybe do the owner, whoever the owner is, and whatever else you want to activate. All right, so the preview set for files smaller than 4 gigabytes. I believe I changed that. I think it was sitting around 1. And I could be wrong, but anyways, I usually max those out, and that has to do with the thumbnails that are in here. And I'll resize those. I only have 2. Okay, I normally load this up with a whole bunch of things, but I didn't this time. All right, what do you want to do when you insert on audio, CD audio or DVD? That all depends if you have those kind of things. So anyways, you have some options. The extensions I probably would leave alone. And the other thing about this, our user for today is Mate user. You can toggle the entry by hitting Control and L. That's really not a thing that is shown very often. Probably would have been in this wonderful help file that is currently blank. But anyways, that if you need to see the path, Control L. All right, so I'm going to put this back into icon view. And Control L, like I said, turns this on. So when you close and reopen your file manager, that returns back to that. All right, so we also have that button that you can do that same thing with. We have places, information, tree history, and bookmarks. Okay, so if you toggle that, you may want to switch that back. Okay, moving across the top, you'll probably see there's a lot of keyboard shortcuts. So one of the things that some folks do is to transfer files. Now I'm going to resize the box by grabbing the corner here and moving this to the side, and hit Control N as in Nancy. And then I'll resize this. I'll do the same thing. So if I have this external drive or internal drive, and we're transferring files, let's take documents for instance, and I'm going to reduce the icon size so you can see there's only 2 things in here. And I have some miscellaneous documents in here. So if I were to drag those over, this is a copy process. When I drag that back, of course it'll complain there's a duplicate here. But this is my other hard drive, and this is the current drive that I'm booting into. So you're dragging and dropping. Now you could also do this where I'm going to click downloads for a second and it's currently empty. If I take that same file and drag it across, because I'm going from documents to downloads for the same user, it is considered a cut and paste. All right, I'm going to move them back. All I'm doing is clicking and dragging. Nothing else. You can certainly use other key combinations on your keyboard, but more importantly, I'm going to continue. Just a simple process. All right, so again, there's a lot of keyboard shortcuts that are in here. And you can also open the file manager in admin mode. In other words, root. It'll ask you for your password. And if you're fairly new to that experience, I'll be very careful with your files. You can see it says super user across there. I want to turn that off. All right, moving across, we have lots more keyboard stuff. Very common stuff. Control C for copy, V for paste, Control V for paste, and Control A to select all. All right, renaming files, copy to, move to trash, delete. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about compression in a second. All right. We also have these weird things called backgrounds. So I'm going to make this window just slightly larger. And basically, I'm just going to drag this over and drop it. And then I'm going to do a reset. Maybe this would be a better option. But again, just backgrounds and emblems. Different colors, different emblems. All right, the preferences I think I covered. And so the view, side pane, this guy, location par, you probably don't want to turn that off, but you can. Extra pane is F3, so going full screen again. So F3 produces 2 sections. So I could make this drive here, and this one my documents, and these are independently resizable. you just have to click in the right pane before you start resizing. And again, still same thing. You're just using a single window. Okay, and I'll make it smaller now. F3 to turn that off. So it's called extra pane. All right, Control H, show hidden files. I think I covered that earlier, but Control H. Now you see a bunch of dots in here. Going full screen again and making that bigger. All right. So a very common folder that I actually install just about every mouse pointer for all Linux distributions is that folder there. I usually create it if it's not there. Another place I store mouse cursors, if I'm doing it for multiple users, is USR share icons. All right, Control H. I have videos on how to install extra mouse pointers if you're curious. All right, so while this is just like shortcuts, documents, and again, one more time, this screen here is blank. This is one of the reasons I'm doing this video. In either case, I haven't tried the other driver because the driver manager comes with the open source drivers, and I kept it that way on purpose. But if you're curious, the driver manager is at the top. And I'll let you see that I'm using the open source, but I'm certainly capable of installing the proprietary driver. Okay. Thank you for watching.